Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. I thought that today I would just give kind of an update on what's been going on. It's been a while. The last time we spoke was um, in the midst of the crisis of Wizards of the Coast. And of course, now everybody is all relaxed about Wizards of the Coast because they caved. Um, you have heard this on many stations and that or YouTube channels, and so you are fully aware of the discourse. Um, I continue to be cynical, and as I've said many times, I haven't played D&D for well over 18 months, almost 2 years now, actually, and sold my books long before, because I could see the writing on the wall. I still have the black set, which now is worth double what I paid for it, so good for me. And of course, I have the PDFs and stuff, but I found different games long before this crisis, and so I'm quite happy. And today's talk is more going to be about show and tell. Some of the things that I've received in the mail over the past few weeks, and games that I think would be of interest to you. So regardless of whether or not you continue to play 5e, or not, for whatever reason, um, I just want to say that I am currently playing Vaesen quite a bit. I absolutely love this. I didn't pull it out, but Coriolis is an absolutely amazing game. I haven't found a free league game that I haven't really enjoyed and think exceedingly highly of. And so um, I've become much more interested in what's happening in European gaming, and so if you're not interested in that, that's fine. Move along. There's more than enough people on the internet to hear and listen to. But for me, I'm going to base today's kind of talk, other than the first one, which is more Coriolis, or yeah, more Coriolis than this. But Face It is an amazingly beautiful book. Uh, the card or the paper is dense. It's beautiful. It feels lovely. I believe that this is printed in Lithuania. Uh, I don't know. But anyway, it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm very, very happy with the quality of Free League paper, particularly this Vaesen paper, where they've really gone out of their way to give a feel of that 19th century uh, just paper feel. Essentially, it's a year zero engine system, so you're rolling a bunch of six-sided dice. Trust me, I used to be a huge snob of rolling six-sided dice. I used to think, no, statistically this was poor and this was not good for gaming. You can get six-sided dice wherever you want. They're everywhere. Get a Monopoly game, and the worst game ever, and bring out the dice there, and then you can play a role-playing game. I liked my polyhedral dice very, very much. I still do, but I have actually seen and witnessed the joy on people's faces where A, they don't have to do math for those who are dyslexic, those who are ADHD, those who just are old and don't want to do math anymore and don't want to add modifiers. The the systems that Free League Games uses for the majority are modifier free. Not all of them, but the Year Zero engine is, if you're modifying, you're adding a dice or taking away a dice. and it just makes life so much simpler. The game goes faster. People say that it's more of a narrative style. Yeah, I guess it is more of a narrative style, but that's not necessarily taking away from the uh, from you know doing things like dexterity moves, strength moves, fighting, close combat, ranged combat. So I'm very, very pleased with the system, and there's um, a reward, or what D&D fans would call inspiration. You mechanic built into, and they're all different in the Year Zero Engine line, that are specific to the world. In Coriolis, it's um, you pray to the icons, and the icons give you a second roll. You can push your roll. Vaesen, you can push your roll, but if you push your roll, you're going to take a condition. And you've got 3 physical, 3 that are mental, and then you're broken, and then you roll on a condition table, a critical condition table, and it's fast. Like this is, you move very quickly through those. So if you push your roll too much, Vaesen will punish you pretty quickly. So you need to choose your times of when you're going to push a roll uh, with a physical uh, with a physical pushing of the roll to get your success. You're looking at maybe 1 or 2 successes. If you don't receive those 6s, that's all you need for a success, then you're going to have to push. And if you push, well, the first stage is being battered. So I always say to the players, you know, whatever they've done and they've pushed, they're exhausted. They're really tired, and they just feel, kind of that exertion. Um, with the mental condition, if you are rolling and pushing that mental condition, so you may have been stretching your mind, kind of using logic or using something to learn about kind of research and your book learning. Well, maybe that means that you've spent the night, or you've got a headache, because it's angry is the first one. I like to use the word frustrated more than angry. I think that frustrated describes something that we often feel if we've, say, done a manipulation roll and it doesn't go our way, so we've pushed it. Even if we succeed, we still take the condition. So it's like you're frustrated. Angry, I think, is a little bit too far, but you're frustrated at what you're doing. You're angry at yourself, but it's more of a frustration than it's a fierce anger. And I think the distinction sometimes is lost on some people, that that first stage, that first condition is a frustration. Anyway, I love Vaesen. I think that it's absolutely fantastic. We'll go back to that in a second. So I'm on a couple of Discord servers, and one is the Effect Podcast Discord server. I support them, and I encourage anyone who not only loves their work and their podcast, and also the games that they've put on for Free League, uh, to join and to pay. They're very, very good. And I am very happy to be to put my money towards what they're trying to accomplish. And so I learned quite a bit about some publications that I could utilize, and so I'm going to bring those to you from their suggestions. The other group is Garblag Games. Anybody who's been watching me for a while knows that I'm a very big fan. I have become friends with Pete in a kind of distanced way, but he is a Facebook friend, and so he knows kind of what's going on with my family, and I kind of know what's going on with his family. So, and I very much like those who are doing work on Garblag Games. Ben, Raj, and Millie is amazing as a GM. Millie, the GM, you can look her up as well. Just, it's a good community. It's a strong community, and Dodeca. Look it up on Drive-Thru. And I must say that I did get a free copy of the book, but I did buy the PDF and wanted to endorse it further. Dodeca is a 12-sided game. It's getting a refresh at the moment. I know that Pete is working on that, and so I encourage you to check it out, get the PDF, see what it's all about, and you might be interested in that. Anyway, but this comes from some people on the Effect podcast and their suggestions. And I believe it was Dave who mentioned on the podcast. So Dave and Matthew do the podcast together. I believe that they are longtime friends going back to their teens. And Dave, who's moving into full-time design work. So look up Dave, and Dave Seamark will be able to maybe help you with your work if you're looking for somebody to help you with developing role-playing. So he suggested Cyborg. Cyborg, I knew nothing about. Canadian, it was $59. It's a very small book, but it's like Morkborg in that it's so it's got that wonderful vibe inside of it. And the back says that it's a nano-infested doomsday role-playing game about cybernetic misfits and punks raging against the relentless corporate hell. And it's a Morkborg hacked. It's by Stockholm Cartel, but I believe you can get it through, it's published through Free League. Stockholm Cartel is the, say, other side of the Swedish role-playing kind of movement, if you want to put it that way. I really am impressed by everything that they've done in Swedish and the stuff that they're doing. There's a lot coming out of Italy. There's a lot coming out of Germany and France, and I really hope that a lot of stuff is published in English. Before I move on to the kind of meat of what he said and recommended about Cyborg, because it wasn't so much the game as it was something that he wanted us to kind of purchase for Coriolis in order to help us with narrating, GMing Coriolis. So before I get there, I just want to remind everybody, if you're watching this, I don't know what day it is, the 7th of February. Yoon Sween. Do I have to get up? I did have to get up. I printed Yoon Sween because it was out of print. I bought the PDF, and it is the Purple Land, an amazing book with references. If you love anything that is East Asian, this is just it's got hooks. It's just a fantastic book. It's being republished, and it's on Kickstarter at the moment. I cannot encourage this enough. Get it. It's supposed to be published in the summer. It's fantastic. So there's my Kickstarter advice for today. So Dave suggested this, and this is a Cyborg kind of supplement aid. Now, Cyborg is very hard to get. I actually bought that at my local friendly game store because I couldn't find it online at all, and I was interested. I actually have an extra copy of Morkborg because I bought it because it was so beautiful that I thought, I'm going to keep this in shrink. I rarely do this because I know that in the future it will be of value. So anyway, Dave suggested this, and this is the, I think it's called the Asset Pack, and the Asset Pack is there's a character sheet pad. There's a poster size map of size. So here, I'm not going to open it up, but this is essentially the map, and it opens up to a good size. But what, and then there's a poster. I don't know if there's anything on the inside. Oh yeah, there's more kind of tables and stuff like that. But there's a location pad that Dave spoke about, and I was intrigued, and so I looked it up, and I thought this would be fantastic. Now, there are 34 locations, and it's in a pad. And so these pads, you have nightclubs, penthouse, warehouses, a back site. Actually, I think that there are more than just 30 whatever. Oh, because they give you more than just one copy. They give you 3 copies of each. Cold storage units, data crypt, dilapidated amusement plaza, Dusk Oasis. If you're playing anything, a net VIP loft, if you're playing anything science fiction, and you just need a location, you just need to pull it out, and this was Dave's point, is this is fantastic. So I can't recommend this enough. And it's readily available online because people have bought the game, but they haven't really bought this supplement. And this is, don't think of it as an asset pack per se for Cyborg, but think of it as an asset pack for anything science fiction that you're playing. So if you're interested in science fiction, this I would say is a must-have. It can easily be system neutral. It's not specific. You've got a D6 roll to say that the shopping mall, it is infamous for its concentration of fences and con artists, or a false independent market designed to hide the single megacorp that owns it. Run down. Most shops are closed or closing. Drug dealers and vagrants have taken over. For currently the stage for a local media feed, interviewing passersby, hosting friendly competitions, kill matches. 5, under siege by terrorists threatening to reveal. So you get a sense that you roll a 6-sided dice. It will give you what's going on in this location. One shop is, you roll a d6 and you get whatever. So let's say a 3, it's selling relics from Go. So even if you just say it's selling relics, you can go and find a relic table in your system, play with it. And on a bench that electroshocks anyone staying on it for more than 15 minutes is his dirty underwear, an umbrella with a hidden monosword, a D4 booster loaded with pink ooze, a blood-covered cred stick with D6 times 1 credits. Again, it's easily transferable into any system. You can hack it to death, but it gives you a floor plan. And I know that for myself, a floor plan, oh, I just banged. A floor plan is very, very good. So this is an excellent resource. Now, I forget if it was Thomas, who has done some Free League work. He created a wonderful PDF for Vaesen, which was set in Japan in the Meiji period. And so this was a suggestion that he made, and it's a little dark. I will say I've never played Call of Cthulhu. I've never been interested. I think I've even mentioned it before that I'm not particularly keen on the original writer of the Cthulhu mythos because of his racist worldview. But then hypocritically, I also listen to Michael Jackson music. So, um, how do you pick and choose what you cancel culture, right? So anyway, this is not written by someone who is suspect, or at least not that we know of. Lynn Hardy and friends have written this for Chaosium, and it's the Call of Cthulhu, the Children of Fear book. Now, it's listed as $52.99. I imagine that that's American. It's printed in Poland. It is a dense book. It comes in at a whopping 400 and some pages, 415 pages. And it's color inside. Now, for Call of Cthulhu, this is not, I've been told, normal. Um, it is a journey across the Himalayas. It is a source book. It has a campaign in it, but I'm using it more as a source book for 1920s travel across Asia. It has some very non-children topics that are part of it, so you might consider strongly uh, giving your veils and sheets, veils and lines, X cards, all sorts of stuff. But you may just want to put that into place beforehand. But it's a journey to a fantastical China and to Tibet. A lot of Tibetan mythos in here. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's got beautiful maps. It does have a kind of handout section, but it's not perforated. It's white. I don't think it's perforated. No, it doesn't seem to be perforated, but it's it's lovely. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm kind of sad that it doesn't have a large pullout map. I don't believe that it has a large pullout map. I haven't found one, so I guess it's not there. But again, I want to use this with Vaesen. I am fascinated by Chinese, um, the Silk Road, anything to do with kind of Asia. And when I refer to Asia, I use it in the British or UK sense, being India. And the surrounding regions of Bangladesh and Pakistan, and moving over toward Tibet, to uh, East Asia, and China, Mongolia, Korea, and Japan, and then Southeast Asia, which I also very interested in terms of uh, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, certainly Malaysia, Burma, or Myanmar now, and also places in here in the 20s like Siam, and places that were under colonization. And so this is an absolutely fantastic book that you can easily work with Vaesen. Um, I love hacking, and I think that this is a great book for you to own, and it's just dense. I gone on a recommendation from, I don't know who exactly. I forget who it was that suggested this, but this is a 2-volume set of what was in a boxed set originally, that had a number of supplements. This is a 2-volume set, um, they're listed as 44.99 US dollars as the list price each. I believe it's each. It's Horror on the Orient Express, and this is a reprint of an earlier edition, and it does come with a map. And again, this is going across Europe to Turkey and to Constantinople. And so you move from London, of course, you go across to Calais or Ostend in Belgium, and then you work your way across through, looks like four different Orient Express routes. You've got the Simplon, which is the very famous route that goes through Venice, Zagreb, Belgrade. You also have the Ostend Orient Express, which moves through the north, through Frankfurt, Nuremberg, through Vienna, and down to Constanta. You also have the Orient Express, the just straight Orient Express, which goes down to Paris, and then it moves to Strasbourg, Stuttgart, Munich, and then it joins up with that kind of around Austria, Hungary, down to, again, Constanta. The last is the Ostend Orient Express, and it starts in Ostend in Belgium, and it works its way down to Vienna through Frankfurt, Cologne, Frankfurt, Nuremberg, and then joins up in Vienna. So you do have some options, and the traditional Simplon goes through Lausanne, Verona, Zagreb, Sofia, and ends in Constantinople. So a wonderful kind of visual map that shows very clearly, it is color. Now, I went through the book and there doesn't seem to be a color image in sight, and that, from what I've read, is normal. There are a number of different epochs that you can go through, dating back to Roman times all the way up to the 20s, and I believe modern times, if I've got that correct. It's got wonderful drawings. The PDF, which you can get on Bits and Mortar, which I did, is full color and wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It has great kind of drawings of the interior of the train itself, and lots of different what I would call adventure hooks. So this is London to the Alps, and then this is Italy to Constantinople. And again, this second volume, they came, I believe, in one, they came in one bundle, shrink wrapped. And again, this is, I mean, we're talking about two books that are well over 350 pages. So it's, and you've got detailed maps of, here of Venice and of a house in Venice, a palazzo. You also have a map of Constantinople, a church. You have Vinkovici, and a lot of Orasach, or Orasish. It's just got so many different things that you can kind of draw on, and it's got a very good index. So again, if you're interested in Vaesen and you're interested in kind of pumping up your ideas and doing something a little more traditional, now I am looking for something transatlantic. I'm looking. I downloaded a PDF of something I think for Cthulhu, which was the Mauritanian I know that, I'm looking at deck plans and plans in terms of running an adventure on an Atlantic cruise. So at the moment, I'm kind of discerning which direction I should go, particularly with these two books. But I think in terms of a resource, these are excellent books. Remember, I will be doing kind of a shorter um, uh, uploads of tools and ways that I think that those in 5e can make transitions uh, that are not a big stretch. I want to do something different from what people have been doing, kind of like this, where just kind of pointing out a book and saying, "Hey, this is great, buy it." Um, but I'd like to give more kind of practical information of how things either play or how they make sense to a 5e player, but not particularly. Kind of like, how do they make sense, period. And essentially, every role playing game is a statistical game. It's fantasy, but it's fantasy where the results are based on statistical information. So, Mythic, which I did print, look at this, I didn't even plan this, but I printed it all. So, this is the Game Master's emulator. This is the second edition. Again, I cannot speak highly enough. It's full color. The drawings are good. Not great. They're good. But the charts are off the top. I mean, they're amazing. So, you get good charts, and it has been narrowed down a bit. Essentially, this Game Master emulator, which if you don't know is something where you can play without a GM. You just use this. You use keywords. You use some yes and no answer mechanic, but you also roll on uh, a percentile, and then you gear it up and down based on the reality of your situation. Again, it's just statistics and moving those around. Ultimately, it doesn't take rocket science to play a role-playing game, and you don't need all these resources. But we like having the resources. That's part of the fun of the game. So, though I'm a big proponent of saving money and not spending and spending and spending, I think that if you're gonna spend money on your hobby and this is your joy, this gives you those endorphins that you desperately need from your humdrum life, ensure that what you do is um, you don't get one system and just stick with that one system. Broaden your experience, pick and choose certain things that you at least know you will enjoy reading and that you will play. Don't get things that you're never going to play, and try, I know it's difficult because I'm just as bad at this, but try not to get things that you know you will never play. Get resources that apply to where you are at now and put them into practice. I've just spent, you know, uh, I think it was 150 or 160 Canadian on these books. I better use them, or I'm in trouble by my better half. So utilize them when you buy them, and use them as resource books. They're like any library. Uh, Maybe you've read all the books in your library, if you have one. Maybe you haven't. Maybe they're mostly for reference. Then diversify. I don't think I will ever play Cthulhu ever in my life. I have no intention of buying the base game, uh, but I'm intrigued by the resources. So remember that when you're looking around, D&D doesn't need Wizards of the Coast stamp of approval to apply a world, and I think that's one of the reasons why the fight was so important for different publishers to be able to have access to that OGL. Um, but I remain exceedingly cynical. All they want to do is get you kind of hooked, and then they'll reel you in when you have no choice but to stay with them. So even though it seems like the war is over and the battle is done, just you wait. Just you wait. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of some of the things that I'm enjoying at the moment. And I'll see you next time with hopefully some practical advice that is short and sweet and to the point. So there you go. Bye.